cloud. We're recording. Everyone is on mute. All right. Hello, everyone. My name, Mr. Curry, did job on introducing me. Like he said, I've been with the MyEcon family a little over a year. I'm located here in Atlanta. But so, quick question before I get into the presentation. How many of you know someone or yourself who has bad credit or less than perfect credit? If you're anything like me, I want to have bad credit. So just to give you my story, I'm originally from Tennessee, the youngest of five, and my mother at a very young age instilled credit in me, the power of credit. Soon thereafter, I purchased my own car. Shortly after, college came. Then after that, my own apartment, which I signed for myself. Then after that, with college, I had credit cards. And then my last year of college, I had a bright idea to go into business for myself with my family member, my niece. We had a restaurant. And I knew the power of credit then, 20-some years ago. So I started the business. Everything was going well. Things took a left turn. And eventually the finances changed, lack of experience. But I end up filing Chapter 13. But it was a devastating time, but I will do whatever it took to reverse what had happened. So at that time, 20 years ago, credit repair was a myth. It was something that was unheard of. And even if I did knew someone that was restoring the credit, it was so much money back then. And so I became obsessed with just trying to figure out how to do it. So I took on the process of trying to do it myself. And that's exactly what I did. I wished I had my back then, but I didn't. So I started the process of building my own credit, just listening to other people, getting information online 20 years ago back then. And eventually I started to understand credit because I became so obsessed with learning everything from collections to charge-offs to tax liens to everything under the sun. It became a passion of mine. So I'm just here as a MyEcon member to just influence everyone to not be afraid to pull your report, challenge those things, and look at those things. So now I'm going to quickly turn over to the presentation. Okay, it's the My Credit System presentation and what you need to know. And I wish I knew this information 20 years ago. I tell you, it would have saved me a lot of time. So just to generally speak of some of the things or the facts about credit, you got 68 million people who have bad credit, 40 million people who have errors on their report. These are errors, not correct information, but errors. It's a $30 billion industry, which with the coronavirus would definitely supersede. And 79% of people who dispute errors on their credit report are successful in 79%. You can go through Credit Karma on the back office of your app and start to dispute anything that's negatively affecting your credit report, and you will see success alone with that. Okay. And of course, everyone wants good credit, but we'll get into more as to why we need credit. So what is a good score? Of course, the 800 to 850, that's the highest. That's excellent. That's no documentation needed. You basically have the institutions in your back pocket. If you're trying to invest in real estate or leverage anything that requires money, having that level of credibility and score will give you access to those things that you desire. Of course, 750 to 799, this is excellent credit. This is where I am now personally after rebuilding my credit and understanding over the years. And I'll show you that later on in the presentation. And good credit is 700 to 749. Okay, this is good credit. If you're still in the sevens, you may not be in the 800s and have access to a lot of things, but still 700 is good. It's a pat on the back, especially when you're trying to make major purchases. So keep that in mind. Major purchase, furniture, car, home buying, real estate, or just access to cash for any other reason you want to do the work of restoring your credit by using the MyCredit system. And then there's poor credit, 600 to 649. Anything below that is just bad. I suggest you don't make any moves if you're I know I've seen a lot of people in some cases, life happens, they get a car, they need these things, and they just sort of just cross their fingers and hope that they get it. Well, you may get it, but you're gonna get that item in exchange for a high interest rate, and that's the opposite of income. All right. So moving along, we're talking about the whole score, the mix of a credit score. Okay, your payment history. Payment history is very important. I've seen some cases where if you miss one payment on a particular debt, it costs you many points. So you want to be mindful of your payment history. Also, credit utilization. The standard is to be under 30%, but in below 30% is always an A+. If you're about to make a major purchase, I suggest that you pay that down to the lowest as possible, because more points you have towards your score, the more favorable points you have towards your credit score. Also, credit history, of course, that means the length of time you've had this account. Long as you've been paying it on time, it counts for a healthy credit history. I know many of us have heard not to close any credit cards accounts, and this is the reason why. You want that history on your report. And as you can see, it costs for a major portion of your credit score. And then new credit, of course, you got to be mindful when to start applying for credit. Many of us, we can go into the mall, retail stores, Home Depot, just about anywhere. And the register, she is most you. Would you like to open an account? Be leery of that. Don't just open these accounts. Be strategic in your accounts, and we'll talk about that later on. But new credit is a good mix. So just be mindful of all the different accounts you will begin to open, because if you apply and you're denied, it counts against you. And credit, and you want to mix it. Now, when they say mix, a healthy good mix would be an auto loan, a credit card, a furniture account, maybe a small loan from a financial institute. It could be unsecured or secured, but you want that healthy mix on your credit score, on your credit report, so that you can have the highest score possible. And the payment history. Okay, so there's 4 letters with the MyEcon system, and again, I wished I had this at my disposal 20 years ago when I was trying to figure out how this process worked. But the 4 letters, so the first letter is the debt validation letter. So keep in mind, there are laws in your favor appointed by our government to protect us against the credit bureaus and how they report on your report. Okay, keep that in mind. Once they report on your report, they are held to strict rules and accountability and accuracy. So that means no alphanumeric character should be incorrect once they report. And as I have gone through hundreds of credit reports, there are always errors, people, which is why 79% of people are successful in disputing their report. And with the MyCredit system, you have access to this letter demanding that they validate this debt through the creditor. And in most cases, they probably can't, because you're basically asking the credit bureau or the collection company to produce proof that this debt is valid through your signature. And in most cases, they can't. So this is the law and the things that support our cause and help us getting the negative things that's reporting on our report negative. So this is the arsenal that you can use to get those things removed from your credit report. The next letter is the method of verification letter, basically demanding them show me the proof. I need to see my signature, the contract, and as we know in the system, you apply for a credit card, you apply for something, they generally don't require a signature. Everything is so electronic. Excuse me, all of these files are God only knows where. So that letter that you have in the My Credit System will basically demand that they show you proof that you open the account. And if you think about it, the collection companies, once your debt goes from the primary account holder to the collection company and to charge off status, you have several collection companies maintaining that account. And they most times definitely never have evidence. And again, this is the violation of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. This is the meat and potatoes, I like to say, of what allows you to successfully remove derogatory information, erroneous, or anything that's negatively affecting you. And it's under this one little law, the FCRA. This law basically states that the credit bureau must accurately report on your report. They can't get anything wrong. That could be the spelling of your name, the account number, how often they recorded, how often you were late. I mean, any and everything. So this one small law is what give you the right to get those things negatively affecting your report removed. And also the intent to litigate. Listen, we're dealing with the credit bureaus. These are data brokers. These are giants. They have no time to go to court on your behalf. In most cases, they don't want to go that far with this once you submit that letter. You're basically stating that, hey, we can go to court. I am going to seek legal action because you are not obeying the law, which is the FCRA. So that letter, at least letter that you will submit. And if you have to, in some cases, go ahead and submit, but they're not concerned with taking you to court. They have other business to tend to, which is the other millions of people in the world who are not aware of this Credit Reporting Act. Credit utilization. Okay, so paying down revolving debt. As a MyEcon member, the debt elimination has saved my life. I don't want to go to the left or the right. I just want to stay in the lane of credit repair, but just the debt elimination have allowed me to pay off over 90% of my debt just by following that debt elimination process. So with credit utilization, you want to keep all of your debt down. Okay, so you want to aggressively pay. You want to use the MyEcon debt elimination software. So you want to tackle all of the credit card debt that you currently have. If you are not in a position to pay off the debts or pay as much as you can, we want to go. It's ideal that you want to go beyond the monthly payment, but depending on your finances and where you are, of course, then you can determine how much you can pay. But keep in mind, if you're about to make a major purchase, you want to pay your credit card debt down as much as possible because it's going to just score, okay? Thereby decreasing your utilization, all right? So decreased utilization increases score. And also, if you're about to make a major purchase of any sort, do not carelessly apply for anything. I've seen countless times over the years, clients will come to me, and as soon as they start to see the credit score improve, they're ready to just go out and start applying. No, savor that credit for a time such as when you're ready to make a major purchase, and take that time by using your My Credit System to reverse anything that's negatively affecting you. Okay, the solutions again, pay down that debt, of course. Okay, and this is one thing that I absolutely love. I've been doing this for years. As a matter of fact, I have several authorized user accounts set aside for my clients to use. This basically states that if someone has good credit, you can inherit that credit by adding them to their credit card. You won't have access to the card, but you will only inherit the credit. So if someone has a high limit, a low balance, and they've been paying on time for 5 or 6 years or 2 years, you will benefit. And in some cases, I've seen 20 to 100 points increase. So this is a great strategy to use. If you have a family member, if you have a loved one or a friend who you know you can trust, and to simply add them on their credit card, you can inherit that history and improve yours instantly. Less than 30 days, people. And also adding new trade lines. So over the years, I've seen and heard a lot of people sort of run away from credit cards. Oh, I don't want the debt. I don't want the credit. But when it's time for you to make purchases, banks and lending institutions, they like to see other areas where you pay other lenders. So these credit cards are a useful tool or resource that you can use to attach to your credit report positively. Okay. So again, even if you do apply for a card, charge $10 on it. Pay the $10 back and put the card on top of your closet anywhere, so you won't have to have access to the card. And yet the credit bureau will still report each month that that card is in good standing. Okay. So these could be department store cards, secured credit cards, rental history, and credit builder loan. Now, I want to point out the credit builder loan, or in some cases, the self-lender loan. You can actually apply for this loan, and it's a way where you're basically paying yourself. Okay. Now, while you're paying yourself, at the end of the year, you can either or you can cash it in. This is a great strategy where you can actually build that emergency fund and then strategically start layering your report with new and good credit. So some of these things are really good strategies that you can use to help stimulate your credit along the way and start adding new credit, new good credit. Applying for credit. You got to be careful about applying for credit. Like I tell clients, listen, once your credit scores start changing, here they come. Hey, you're approved. Congratulations. Here's the $15,000 credit card you've been waiting on. Do not fall for it. You're going to go through the process. I encourage you to go through the process, go through the journey, understanding your credit, securing your credit, being conscious of your credit, and just not applying for any credit. Okay, be particular about your credit, because remember, there's power in credit. Okay, there's loans being made for businesses, cars, houses, up in the hundreds of thousands. So you want to be mindful that this thing called credit is precious, and it should be protected. So the credit, you have two types of debt. It's revolving debt. So your revolving debt is your credit card, because it goes up and down, depending on how you charge. That's why it's revolving, sort of like a door. So this type of debt, you just be mindful that your scores are moving as well, because this debt can be $100 one month and yet have $1,000 balance the next month. And there's the next debt is the installment debt. This is your house or your car. So you pretty much start with the installment debt, and then you sort of pay it off in arrears. So you're going to constantly go based on the payment amount. And as a MyEcon member, MyEcon teaches us you have to tackle that debt. not just pay the minimum, but pay as much towards it as possible to decrease that installment debt. So again, I'm just here to encourage all. You don't have to go through my struggle. You don't have to be afraid of your credit report. You have the 750 My Credit System right at your hand. Take advantage of all the videos in the back. It's 26 do-it-yourself videos. You don't have to be confined to the computer. You can put your earbuds on and just sort of listen to it. It's great information. It's financial information that you need to understand your credit, to understand how this process goes. And also, there's 4 rounds of dispute letters. 4 letters. People, it's a letter, a stamp, and an envelope. You have to get familiar with these letters. You have to understand the correspondence you're going to get from these credit bureaus, because your job is to reverse whatever they report, especially if it's incorrect. So in your My Credit System, you're equipped with these dispute letters. And also keep in mind, credit is it's an income shifting strategy. It is. It's definitely is. I know a lot of us don't think about our credit until it's time to use it. If 9 out of 10 people don't worry about their credit, if it's in the 600s, they all apply for the car. That is money and profit in the financial institute hand. So all that income has shifted back to the banks, to the lenders, to the credit union, simply because the 9 out of 10 people did not do the work of restoring their credit. Also, you get the debt elimination software. I absolutely love it, people. It works. This is not the debt elimination class, but I tell you, it works. I cannot believe the type of debt that I eliminated simply by following the step-by-step instructions with the debt elimination software. And as a MyEcon member, this is what you have in your arsenal to fight debt and get closer to financial freedom. And then the minimize expense calculator, another one of the offerings and benefits as a MyEcon member. And of course, you want to reestablish your credit sources. Get in those videos, understand those sources, those nicks. It's manipulating your score and moving it. I can't. And the investment calculator and business opportunity. So with the My Credit System and affiliate position, you're looking at a one-time payment of $29.95, then $34.95 a month. Your average credit repair specialist will not give you that price at all. You're looking at $100 to $300 to start, because they have to maintain the keep up with these things, but you have an opportunity to start the process yourself. And even if you can't finish it, at least you can start the process and get familiar with the credit repair process. And the last thing you can do is just turn it over to a professional. But I encourage you, do it yourself. There's no quotas, there's no upsells or hassles here. No experience required. Digital and automated, and every customer will receive their private portal. And if you refer customers, again, you'll earn great income. Once you start the process of restoring yourself, you don't have to sell. You can simply tell. And then there's all the earning potential with credit repair. It's a very hot trend. It definitely is. Because when your customer purchases the membership, they're going to earn upfront and residual income. So not only is this an opportunity for you to earn, but it's also an opportunity for you to income shift by restoring your credit so that you can have access to things for a lesser cost and interest. Again, you're going to earn that $25 personal membership sale and then $7 on each membership sale. And you're basically selling the same system to those who are interested in restoring their credit. Okay, Mr. Curry, I'd like for you to, I'm going to turn it over to you for this part here. Well, I don't have to, Mr. Curry. I'll just go ahead and continue. Okay, sorry about that, everyone. So this is the My Credit System is found in the back office of your membership. Go through these modules, very simple, very easy, shows you the introduction to the credit plan, just a step-by-step process, okay? Step by step. You have all the letters, you have all the videos, follow the steps. And I'll show you in a example here where some of the evidence on the credit reports that you can see. And I'll pull that up for you. Some of the things that you should expect to see. Okay, one moment. So here I have, I pulled several files from one moment. I pulled several files from past clients. I've hid the names of several to not reveal their identity. No sensitive information is listed, but it's just some of the things that I want to show you that you should look for.
You got to go to the credit report now.
Okay, one moment. I'll pull that up for everyone. Desktop. All right, here's my folder here. And so just to show you where I am currently in my credit journey. This is actually my report that I pulled today. These are currently my scores, okay? Good, great credit over time. When certain information comes on my credit report, I help myself and I remove them. Also, this is a snapshot of the Credit Karma. I hear a lot of people talk about the difference in the scoring with some of the other credit monitoring services versus Credit Karma. Generally, Credit Karma is off. Definitely expect your scores to be off with Credit Karma. Let me see. Yeah, okay, I didn't add it. But this here is with Identity IQ. That's identityiq.com. I really like them because the reports are very detailed. The information is very detailed. And the scores are accurate most of the time. And here is Credit Karma. Just so you'll know, payment history is a part of your credit score. So you want to keep those payments consistent and you want to keep those balance low. Payment history here is 100% credit card utilization low, no derogatory marks. History and all of these accounts. I know it's a lot of accounts on here, but I've strategically used a lot of these accounts for other things. I also want to show you other evidence. When you start your credit repair process, this is some of the evidence, some of the things that you will see once you start removing some of those things on your credit report. So I'm going to quickly scroll through this report, kind of go over some of those things. Here are the results. There's sometimes when you receive the reports from credit bureaus, there are 100 different pages. I'm just kidding, but seriously, it's like 10 to 20 pages, and the average person don't know what to look for. This is what you look for. These keywords right here. Here are the results. In most cases, it's embedded in all of those pages, but you are basically looking for the results and you are looking for the word delete. So as you start your credit repair once those letters start coming to you, you are always looking for this information here. This item was removed from your credit report. Also here, I also suggest in a separate letter, you want to remove any other information that's not reporting on your credit report. It could be an address, it could be the misspelling of your name. People, a simple letter stating, hi, this is Jane Doe. I need for you to remove all of these addresses. It's reporting on my credit report. And look at this, guys. They will delete them. They will remove them. And so here's another example of another credit report. Residence deleted. These are all the addresses removed. All right. Most of the time, they don't hesitate. They are very good about removing this information. If someone's ID does not have the address, they will remove it. Okay. And a lot of times that increases your chance of removing a lot of the negative information from your credit report because it's tied to that address. Okay. Here's another one here. And lastly, more deleted, outcome deleted. That is what you're looking for. You're looking for what is deleted. That's all you're looking for. Don't worry about a lot of the other information that you see. Depending on what is and what's not deleted, you want to go back into your My Credit System, get the exact same letter, and the information that was not deleted, you want to add that to the letter and continue on with your disputing process. More deletions. Just giving you an eye on some of the things that you want to see. Now, in this case here, I like to show you, sometimes they'll come back and say, well, it's project to completion date, or it's validated. Even though they say that, do not be discouraged. You want to continue their process, and you just want to focus in on anything that's negatively affecting it and keeping it on that letter. This one here, guys, I want to show you evidence of a bankruptcy being removed. Look at this. Look at this. Chapter 7, bankruptcy removed. These letters are effective. The FCRA works in your favor. Do the due diligence of working on your report. I encourage everyone to do this. This here is fairly old. As you see, the tax lien is reported. But as of 2017 into 2018, IRS debt and tax liens are no longer reported on your credit report. Now, it still does not mean that you don't owe the debt. So if you're investing in real estate, such as I have, you want to handle any of those debts because they will affect you by getting additional properties. But for the most part, tax liens, IRS debt is no longer reported on a credit report. And during this time, I'm approaching the last letter. I would like, Mr. Curry, for you to open up the call and give a testimony, especially one. I'd like Cedric to give his testimony, 2 or 3 minutes at the most, about how he used the My Credit System and what success. And in addition to Cedric, I would like for someone else to do the same.
Okay, Cedric, just unmute yourself and you can go ahead and give your name and your testimony. Cedric right. First.
Can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear, sir. Go ahead.
Wonderful, wonderful. Folks, and here's what's interesting. What Tasha has on the screen right now, that's me. I shared some things with her. I was one of the ones using the 750 credit plan, and I had a bankruptcy. And listen, life happens to all of us. Okay, it is what it is, right? Sometimes people lose their job. You have people who marriages, goes bad or whatever. And sometimes it's called life. And sometimes you may have to file bankruptcy. But what the cool thing is about what we offer is it doesn't matter what's on your credit profile. It doesn't matter because, as Tasha said, it's all based on the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And that's what we're good at challenging the credit bureaus when it comes to them following the rules and the guidelines of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. But for me, when I first got started using the strategies that MyEcon teaches, I actually had a zero credit score. And I say zero, even though the lowest is like 300, I say zero because for a while I used to flip property, okay? And this is really back in the day. When the mortgage crisis happened back in 2008, I lost my business. And so I had to get back into the credit game. Well, I used the same strategies that Tasha just went over, the same ones. I went from a 0 to a 726 in only 5 months. Because what I like to tell people is our credit system does two things. Number one, it takes those negative things off the credit profile. But as Tasha mentioned also, we show people how to put those positive things on. I usually like to tell people that think of your credit report as a financial report card. You remember how back in school, you had the A's and the B's and the C's and the D's for some of us, and how that made up your GPA. Well, the same thing is kind of true when it comes to your credit profile. Those trade lines that are on your credit report, if you don't match the components that Tasha went over, right, you more than likely you're going to have that F or D. But what we do with our credit system, we show you how to take those negative things off and then how to put those positive things on. And that's what I did to go from a 0 to a 726 in only 5 months. And like I said, life happens. And so what you see on the screen right now is something that happened to me just over about a year and a half ago. I first got started MyEcon, all right? I had to file bankruptcy. I filed bankruptcy in October of 2018. It was discharged in January of 2019. And as you see right there on the screen, it was removed from my credit profile in March of 2019. A lot of times, if you ask people, well, how long does a bankruptcy have to stay in your credit report? They'll tell you 7 to 10 years. But folks, when you understand the rules of the game and when you follow the rules of the game, it doesn't have to stay there for 7 months, let alone 7 to 10 years. So, and you know, I'm gonna try and keep it short. I'm a minister, so I love to talk. So I'm gonna try and keep it short. I'm gonna be coachable. But at the end of the day, folks, listen, what you have your hands on, what we have our hands on can literally change people's lives. Not only when it comes to the credit repair, but also debt collectors. Maybe one day I'll get an opportunity to do a presentation and show you how you never have to pay a third-party debt collector, especially using the system that MyEcon. So that being said, back to you, Mr. Curry.
Wow, thank you, sir. I learn something new every day. I've known you for a year, a little over a year now, and I did not know that, but that is awesome because we have been told, and even I thought that, you know, bankruptcies had to stay out there, and I know that's a question for many people, and it's going to be a bigger question now that we're experiencing this economic pandemic. You know, they talk about the COVID pandemic, but this economic is a pandemic also. Does anyone else have a short testimony they would like to share? We'll take one more. If you just go ahead and unmute yourself really quickly, give us your name and a couple of minutes on the testimony, that'd be great.
Yes, sir, Mr. Curtis, Dexter Sadler. I'll give a very short version. I had gone through a calamity in my life that took my credit score down to 425. Using this system, before it was automated, I had to write the letters. I had to do the research and learn these things. One of the things I learned about was there is a thing in the Fair Credit Reporting Act called a statute of limitations. So therefore, it let me know that I had things that was affecting my credit that had been on there long past the statute of limitation. So that came off. Some of the stuff in there was misspelling my last name. It's Sadler, and it was spelled Saddler. That had to come off. That program, and now everything is automated. The letters are already prepared. The training is there. Folks, you can't miss with this. But this process took me from a 425 to a 750. Now, it did take me about 12 to 18 months, but I look at from where I was and look at where I'm at. And folks, you can't miss with this my credit system.
Money Doctor, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay, Tasha, why don't you go ahead and close us out here, and then we'll take questions and answers. You can give us your final words, and we'll take questions and answers after that.
Okay, everyone. Again, you heard some great testimonies. I cannot encourage you all even more to do the work, start the journey. It's so unbelievable that so many of us are not credit conscious. But I encourage you, being a part of the MyEcon family, being a person that is financially literate and financially conscious of your retirement. You want to definitely tackle these things, and then turn this information over to your children. Turn this over to your loved ones, because financial institutions are taking way too much money from us due to our lack of knowledge and understanding. Thank you so much for having me.
And then we're going to take a few questions. Thank you tonight for being on here. But let's understand something. In this world, if you're going to have credit, then you should at least make sure you have good credit. If you're going to borrow. Now, I know that we teach you in college you should be debt free. We do teach that. We believe that. But it's still, if you're going on, you need to have good credit. I borrowed for my house. I understand that I've been teaching this for 30 years. But I got my house at 3.25. I could not take money out of my investment that was giving me north of 15%, and I'm going to pay cash for a house when I can get money at a little over 3% rate of return. So I made a financial decision, but I had a great credit score in order to be able to do that. Not only did I make money, but I had a great credit score. So I had options. Now, if my credit score had been where it was 20, 25 years ago, I would not have had that option, because the interest rates would have been extremely high, which would have made payments more than I was willing to pay on a monthly basis. So I would have had to do something different. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for being on tonight. What we're going to do now is we're going to end the recording, and then once we end the recording, we will be ready to take some questions. So let's see where this recording here is. That is, do you want to stop recording? Yes.